start recording now because we had 18 register, and usually we get about half turning up. So I reckon we've got our quota. So that's really great. We've got our frequent flyers, as Louise and I like to call them. So what we've decided to do this week is to have a bit of a pause on our guests for Wellbeing Wednesday and do a bit of a review of where we've got to, what we've learned so far, look back at our guests, and also have an opportunity for the community that we've created through Wellbeing Wednesday just to connect and have a bit of a chat. So that's why we're in meeting mode today rather than webinar mode. And my name, for those who might be watching this later, is Cynthia Marnie, and I'm a leadership facilitator, coach, speaker, writer, and really passionate about how we are able to perform at our best. And for me, a key pillar of that is looking after our wellbeing and looking after the wellbeing of our teams. And I'm joined by my fabulous colleague, Louise Thompson. Louise, would you like to say hello?
Hi everyone, and for those that are bunkering down, enjoy the next, whatever it is, 11 hours of freedom. And like Cynthia, consultant in the leadership space, and funnily enough, actually getting quite busy. I had a call before confirming a couple of workshops next week with the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence with their nurses on resilience, and it's still okay if I was to come in.
Oh.
So they see it as essential service, definitely needed, or they have to let the people have time off. I work with a psychologist and she can't do it, so it's material we've created. So a bit of a pickle, hey, to be in, but been a bit busy.
Good. Well, I think, I just think there's a lot of demand for, you know, as this pandemic is going on for many of us, there's a bit of a realisation that perhaps, particularly for Victoria at the moment, that this, you know, working from home and not being able to get together isn't a flash in the pan and we haven't dodged a bullet, that we're actually, you know, perhaps need to think about doing this for the long haul. So that's definitely made a difference to my mindset. So my wellbeing's been a bit the last couple of weeks, and I kind of likened it to, I thought I was on a short plane trip, but actually I have just realised I'm actually on a long sea voyage. And so my mindset actually needs to be totally different. And therefore, what I focus on needs to be really different too. So the way that we're going to run today is we're going to ask you a couple of questions. We're going to review our speakers and just remind you of who we've managed to hear from and what their wellbeing wisdom's been. And then we want to put you into groups and pairs to have a bit more of a chat. So this is going to be a practice session that you can hopefully use to think about your wellbeing. So the first thing that we wanted to do was just go around the room, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself in order of first name, alphabetical order. So we've got 12 on the call. So is that you first, Di? Yes, Di, if you can go first. We'd love to hear your name, where you're from, and what's one great thing that's happened for you this week?
Right, so I'm Di and I'm a dairy farmer in Northern Victoria, outside the bubble, but it's next to the border. What's some good thing that's happened this week? Oh, I got to see my grandkids on the weekend, so they came up for a few days, so that was really nice.
Fabulous. Thanks, Di. Who's next? Catherine, probably. No, Catherine was first, actually, with a C. Go, Catherine. Sorry.
Catherine, I'm sort of recently moved to Benalla, so sort of feeling slightly disconnected in terms of communities, and all my Melbourne siblings are in the hotspots, So a little bit anxious about them. Yeah, so that's sort of my sort of recent mental state has been sort of, I'm aware that I'm sitting on an anxious thing. So I took a week off. The end of last week and the beginning of this week. So I did a bit of gardening. So I've got, another garden bed sort of weeded, getting out the awful lily things that are growing and unfortunately sort of got a couple of, and 3/4 of the way through a big hard bed. So yeah, feeling a bit of an achievement, but still got a long way to go. And I feel like I've been aware since the beginning, being sort of healthy in terms of background, being aware that pandemic means you're in for the long haul without a vaccine. So knowing the consequences has been sort of notching up my anxiety levels.
Yeah, I think I was a bit, I mentally knew it. I mean, as in, yeah, I mentally knew it, but I didn't know it in my heart and my being. Like I didn't emotionally know it. I feel as if, I kept bringing down the tone every time I was being a bit pessimistic. Reminding people, no, social distancing mean we keep our distance, and keep reminding people, and they just look at me as if, I've had 3 kids. But, it's like, no, actually, the rules need to apply. Yeah. Well, I think we've all got it. Hopefully everyone around Australia has got a big wake-up call about that. Now, so Estelle, is it you next? Someone tell me if I stuff up the letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, well, I'm E. Is anyone else before E? Okay, so I'm Estelle. I'm from Melbourne in the Bayside area. And so, yeah, we're going into lockdown. Great thing, I was just saying to some of the others, I think most people were already there when I did my brag, that I actually finished a professional book that I was writing this week. And after 25 years experience, and I thought when I went into writing the book, oh, I know what I want to say. It was really hard. It was really challenging. And there are so many choices that have to be made along the way. It's amazing. And I'm only just starting the editing process now, and there's another 5 months. So that was a really big win. And on Saturday night, we had my folks around, which was really nice because my mum's really vulnerable. She hasn't been going really anywhere. My brother and sister are looking after her at her house. She's 90. So to get out and about was really, really good. We had them over for dinner on Saturday night, and I am so pleased we did because now basically we'll hardly see her for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So that was a real plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the book writing. What an achievement.
Oh, thank you. I really feel it is.
Yes, so yay, everyone.
It's taken a lot of persistence.
They say that everyone's going to book in them, but not many people take the opportunity or face the fear of doing it. Hey, Cynthia, just a quick reminder, just those that have just joined us, just that quick agenda, what we're doing. And I just have to tell 3 noisy kids to shut up. So
no problem. Now, Fiona, you're next. Can you write in the chat box just name where you're from and what's been a great thing that's happened this week?
Well, this might actually be working.
Yay!
Oh, very good. It was naughty. I didn't test it, but you can't see me because this computer doesn't have a camera on it. Sorry, but you don't really need to see my noggin anyway. Oh, Estelle, yes, great job on the book, I wanted to say, because I know what a thing that is. And if you need any whatever's down the track, give me a shout. And I describe books as like being your children. And I'm often asked, which one's your favourite? And that's like picking your favourite child, you can't do that. And you want everybody to love them, but you also know that you can't please all the people. And that, for me, and probably for a lot of women, is the biggest hurdle, I think, with doing books. You worry that people won't like it. They think you didn't do this right, because they're never perfect. So finishing them, like the editing stage, that's where I guess, for me, it can go on forever. I can only finish a book by setting a deadline. And I tell everybody, it's going to be done by Christmas. because otherwise it would just go on forever. Catherine,
Thank you, Fiona. Thanks very much. I really appreciate that, because you are very much a very experienced mentor in that regard.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but it's just, I think if people haven't done one, it's hard to imagine the amount of grunt work and, oh, should I do this and should I do that? Because it's your book and no one can give you the really detailed advice, because ultimately you have to have your own confidence in it, because it has to be your voice. Sorry.
No, I just have to, Louise has just messaged me because she's the time person. I am more like, let's do this, a great chat. Louise, luckily, is more, so Fiona, I'm just going to say, what's one good thing that's happened and where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm home in Townsville, in the tropics. I can't pick one. I've had a few. I've just invited back to a conference in China, which I can't go to, and to a conference in Canada, which is nice. I'll do a recording for that and a few other things, but that'll do.
Fantastic. And for those who missed it, Fiona recently won an international prize for her rural photography. So we've said before, go and look her up, Fiona Lake, on social media, and you can learn more about her wonderful work. Thank you, Fiona. Who's next?
I reckon it's me.
Great.
Great.
If not, anyway, I'm away. So Jane, I'm in the foothills of the Great Dividing Range, just on the outskirts of Melbourne, the last suburb in lockdown, thanks very much. Mitchell. So, yep, the first rural suburb, or shire, sorry. One good thing that happened this week, I finished a rockery that I've been working on for two months in memory of my dad, and it tinkles just right. Just got to say, the sound is awesome. And that's important for me because 3 months ago today I lost my job, and that's on top of everything else, pretty stressful time. So, and I guess the other, I don't know how personal we get, but I've just launched into a mental health plan. So, you know, this stuff happens, and I just think we should be brave enough to go and get the help we need. So that's
Well
me.
done.
Well done.
Well done, Jane. I was just saying yesterday on my antidepressants, I'm sure they've helped me over the course of the last few months. So, yeah, definitely worth having, you know, sharing what's going on and what our strategies are, and we can all learn from each other. Now, so we've got we've got Jo.
Okay. Yep. Hi everyone, I'm Jo. I'm based in Melbourne around Bayside. By day, I'm a research scientist that looks at the value of herd improvement tools in the dairy industry. And another hat I wear is as an advocate for young people in agriculture through Picture You in Agriculture's youth leadership team.
And what's a good thing that's happened this week, Jo, for you?
Probably for this week would be the Zoom cheese and wine tasting that I did with Mum on Friday night.
Lovely. I think I saw a photo of your little selection on social media. It looked wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic ISO find, these monthly cheese and wine tastings.
Great. So everyone, you might want to friend Jo follow Jo on Instagram, and you'll see some of what she's been eating. Now, Jude. Hello, lovely Jude, my special friend.
Hello, Jude.
Hello. It's a few familiar faces. I was a bit late logging in, actually. So, what's the question?
What's your name? Where are you calling in from? And what's a good thing that's happened this week?
Great. Okay. I've known Cynthia for a while. I'm Jude. Many years ago, worked with Sense, and I've worked with Louise over the years as well. I currently work for Deakin University as a policy advisor. So that's who I am. A good thing that's happened this week. Well, I guess I've had some health challenges this year. So the good thing that for me this week is that I've been actually feeling really well.
Good on you, too.
I'm trying to identify small wins this year.
Yes, absolutely. Terrific, Jude. I'm really pleased to hear that. Thank you and welcome. And so who's next?
Louise.
Louise.
Hello, sorry, took a bit to unmute. Yeah, so hi everyone. Sorry I was late too. Louise Scott, and I'm in Emu Creek, just out of Bendigo. The most exciting thing that actually happened, and it's because of this network of women. So Sally Murfet sent me a suggestion to apply for a scholarship through the National Centre for Farmer Health to study a unit through Deakin Uni, actually, as part of the Graduate Certificate of Agricultural Health and Medicine. And I didn't get the scholarship, but then I thought I could still apply and then work out how to pay for it later somehow. So yeah, I got accepted into that and got the email this morning. So healthy and sustainable agricultural communities is the topic, but yeah, and it doesn't close until the 10th. So get onto it if you want to apply, because it'd be great to do it with some like-minded people from off here.
Oh, terrific. Oh, Di said Catherine. Di and Catherine both said they were thinking of applying for that too.
Yeah, they had an overwhelming response for the scholarship, so I didn't get that, but yeah, I'll work out how to fund it somehow.
Oh, it sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Louise.
Thank you.
LMN Narelle. No, Narelle. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm kind of a first timer here, so a bit overwhelming, yeah.
Throw straight into the spotlight.
Yeah. I thought I was just going to sit and listen, actually.
Oh, no.
That's what we usually do, Narelle, but today's a bit different. So,
so I'm in Horsham in the Wimmera, and this is going to be really rude to like you Melbourne people, but the best thing that's happened to me in the last couple of days is the fact that lockdown has happened. So now I feel safe in my community.
Oh, fair enough.
That's a bit rude, I know.
No.
But
not at all.
Yeah, we've seen it in Port Fairy, you know, like people have visited and kind of now it's all on high alert. So I feel a bit safer that I can actually support our local businesses and be safe.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's probably my biggest win in the last 24 hours. I don't know if I've got any others, really.
No, that's good.
No, that's good.
Great to hear. I went to the supermarket in Benalla because, Narelle, I live in Melbourne, but Dad's in Benalla, and I went to the supermarket last week. I came back a week and a half ago. And Carol, who I was talking to in the supermarket, one of the Safeway women in Benalla, I said something about Melbourne, and she just went, what are you doing here? We don't want you here. You're not supposed to be here. And I was like, no, I'm actually allowed to, because it was like before any restrictions. But yeah, just that we don't want you here. You're not supposed.
Although there's a lot of tourists.
Totally get it.
There's a lot of tourist businesses that are saying the opposite, and that's where I think we now as locals have to turn around and show them that we love them. Just, you know, we can support them. But yeah, there's a lot of negative kind of tourists. Oh, we need the Melbourne people. I'm like, well, I'm not going to shop until you get rid of them. So.
Okay, thank you, Narelle. Nosh, hello.
Hi everyone, my name is Nosh. I'm not sure if this is a win or not, but I've been through some very challenging times in the region. So much so that I've had to move out from my house share and find an apartment for myself. So all my energy is focused onto that. Yeah. I'm close to about 2 apartments, which I quite like equally. So I just want some positive energy sent my way. And I think it'll all be fine once this passes, so I'll face it graciously. Thank you. And I'm happy with the lockdown, to be honest, because I think it's what we need actually to be safe. So nothing wrong with I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. Is it Narelle? I think you said. Yeah. So, that's all I've got to say. Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Nosh. We're all sending you lots of positive energy
Love you.
to the
Thank you.
new apartment. And finally, Susie.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm Susie. I'm from Ballindella. Louise always struggled with that one.
Just play it again.
Ballindella.
Ballindella.
Yep. I used to work for a charity. Now I'm home as a mum, studying, and I'm doing the Lord Murray Community Leadership Program. I've asked Louise Scott to be my mentor after watching her on Wellbeing Wednesday, which is fantastic. And one of the things that's happened for me this week, I was actually stalking a friend of mine that I haven't seen for a while, Sally Dickinson, and Cynthia's photo was in there. So I thought, wow, isn't it a small world? So, yeah.
I love Sal. We used to work together.
I figured as much, yeah.
Smart program, and we were both at Kyabram.
Yep.
Yeah, so good, so great. And I just actually, thank you, Catherine, for reminding me. So we had Claire come on. She's just joined us. So Claire, hello. And we're just doing a really quick, trying to do a quick name, where you're from, and what's a good thing that's happened this week.
All right, I want to put my camera on, but anyway, too late for that. Hi everyone, my name's Claire Webber and I'm from Port Lincoln in South Australia. Having a bit of a shit week this week. Everything seems to be hard at home, at work, and financially, but I'm feeling okay. So I suppose that's a win. Yesterday I wasn't feeling okay. Today I've woken up with a different attitude and outlook. So hopefully being with you all today can help me improve on that again. Feeling a bit less stressed today and a bit more faith that it'll all work out.
Oh, terrific. Terrific. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I just think, yeah, like a few people have said, I just reckon we're going to go, just over the next medium to long term, we're all going to be up and down at different times. And it's really important to acknowledge that and, keep that support going. So, so what we wanted to do today was actually see everyone's faces and just bring that sense of community to life, because usually we've been getting to know each other via the chat box. So I am just going to share my screen for a sec. Come on, share screen. And okay, so we have had 15 fabulous speakers, and we've got few of them with us today. And so what we wanted to do really quickly was just take you through. So for the people who it's their first time today, this is, we'll take you through who we've spoken to and what we've learned from them. And then we're just going to put you together to have a bit of a chat about key takeaways and what might be challenging you right now. So I'm going to take us way back to our first guest, Di Bowles. Woohoo! And Di, we got Di because we knew Di would have a lot of great wisdom for women and men in lockdown. Di's got a great ability to say no. So her top tips were daily rituals being really important for well-being, accept yourself who you are as you are. Her big strategy, which I think resonated with a lot, was let me get back to you before making a decision so that you can say no. Don't worry about fear of missing out because it's not really a thing. 5 minutes with someone could mean the world to them. So be kind and generous and take time to connect. And don't apologize for surrounding yourself with things that you love. So thanks, Di. Now, we do have our episode 2, 3 and 4 with Marie McPherson, Shanna Wan and Dr. Kate Burke. I am so sorry, but we hadn't quite had our processes all lined up. And so we've got their videos on our session, but I actually haven't recorded their 3 lessons. But Shanna was basically all about, she started an organisation called Sober in the Country, and she talked a lot about just the well-being. Sorry, that's my cat Lulu, who's meowing. I just have to look after her. Hang on one sec.
I'll take over. So maybe the fact that we don't have the top tips in front of us, who can remember what was Shana's top tip? You know, she had top 3.
I can't remember.
Will you silence there? Cast back 3 months ago. No.
Yeah.
I can't remember all the tips, but I've read lots of her things and followed her a lot. So if you haven't looked at Sober in the Country, definitely do. It's changed my way of, I don't share little memes about drinking alcohol and things anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a great lesson. Yep. Very good. Yeah, it would be even worthwhile, I'd say, for a lot of people, especially at the moment, where we're still all at different stages, but just to watch her, the interview that we did, and also the Australian story was a really great story. What about...
oh, sorry, Louise. Sean McAuliffe's got a series starting on the ABC this week, and I've forgotten what it's called, but he's a non-drinker, and Shanna is on his series.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, that's great to hear.
It's ABC TV?
ABC TV,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, great. Marie or Kate?
Yeah, Marie's a wonderful coach from Gippsland. She's ex-CEO of the Victorian Local Governance Association. She does a lot of mentoring, and she shared with us a few strategies around that we could use to think about our well-being. And we actually, the recording stuffed up there, so we actually don't have a recording of her. I know that those who haven't joined us before, we're going to sound like a basket case, but you will see later we're now a well-oiled machine. We've got all our systems now, so we've evolved as we've gone along. And finally, Dr. Kate Burks from Echuca. She is an agricultural consultant, wonderful woman, on a lot of does a lot of work with community, and is very big on helping agricultural businesses to be more effective and efficient, but she's also got a really human component. She shared her mental health journey with us for the first time, and she's very big on, can we be kind to each other, can we be really open about our mental health, and that you are the best, you know, you're the most important thing in your business as a resource, so you've got to look after yourself. Okay, so then we get on to episode 5, and I'll just do this one, Louise. Shantelle is a Indigenous woman who is a Jiu-Jitsu world champion, and she was so inspiring and so full of determination. And her top 3 wellbeing tips were about creating space and time to do things for yourself, and that they're non-negotiable. You need to schedule them. Connect with something that you love, and do the hard work of self-awareness, because it's really important for wellbeing.
She also left us with the message that it's not just a mindset, it's a heart set. This has stayed with me, especially that emotional area. Good on Donna for sharing her tips with us. That was a great interview that we had. And so she brought in that metaphor of the cups, and filling, the cups and filling your cup first. That, like, who said it before about just taking small steps first? I think Jude, talked about, rather than going massive onslaught of your well-being, but just to, take little steps and at least give it a go. And the importance of rest, which I'm the person that's always big into sleep, and I've just actually received from a naturopath a nice little calming concoction for having better sleep. So we can't do enough to make sure we do rest so we can recharge.
And just to let you know, we will send you these slides as well, so that you'll have them as a record post this webinar. Now, Fiona couldn't help it. She had more than 3. That doesn't surprise anyone. But she said Women, think about your legacy. What do you want to look back on, and let that drive your daily decisions. Always have something to look forward to. Don't worry about what you look like. She said, how sad is it that lots of us have stopped ourselves doing things like enjoying the beach because we're worried about what our bodies look like. And we're all going to die one day. Just remember that. So don't worry about the little things. And then she said, it's all right to be angry, but just make sure you're directing it at who you should be directing it at. Keep your eye on the outcome and always offer a solution, and have courage. And I love that. Courage is like a muscle, and you just need to keep exercising it so that it gets stronger and stronger.
Then, of course, Louise talks about Louise, and Louise was our first to really bring in an item, not a verbal metaphor, but something we could see. We talked about Lego bricks and the need to, you know, be really careful about what you're doing. And I'm just trying to remember how, Louise, you took us through that. I was fascinated the fact that you brought Lego into the conversation. But yeah, that quite easily, you know, things can topple off. So be really careful in how you're building up your well-being. Again, similar to Fiona's about the legacy, and important to knowing your values and holding on to those, and looking at your network, who's in it and who's there to support you.
Sorry, I'm just having a bit of trouble with the old PowerPoint. Right, Paige, we had Dr. Paige Williams, and we're actually going to be getting Paige back in a couple of weeks as well, because she's just about to launch her book, and she wants to share what she's written in her book about being anti-fragile. So Paige is a psychologist and from Geelong. So she said, check your internal dialogue, monitor your own self-talk, be kind. If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. Are we being realistic in our expectations? So just be really conscious of expectations versus reality. And she gave us 3 great questions that would help us learn forward. So think about what went well, what you struggled with, and what you can learn. And she talked about, we love that neuroscience, but our brains are constantly adaptable, and we can grow and develop and change. We're not fixed. So that if we start thinking in different ways, those neural pathways in our brains will develop. And
Sally was about finding your why, so ensuring you know your purpose and the direction that you're taking, getting your tribe together, just like we've got our tribe here every Wednesday, and ensuring that you keep connected, and choosing growth over comfort. So again, that's that taking courage to you know, really step outside your comfort zone to get your well-being sorted.
Episode 11, we had Tanya Kitto from My Provincial Kitchen over in WA. She spoke a lot about health and about just her attitude and mindset, and how a health setback really enabled her to change and grow and look at life totally differently. So she said, take time, just make time and space for yourself. You matter, put yourself first. You can't help anyone else if you're not okay. And love life, just love it, get out there and don't hold back.
And just on Tanya, if for those that may not have been involved in that particular session, her and her husband have got the farm with Lupin, the largest producer in the world. And if you have what's Crohn's disease or any issue with gluten, she's a good one to look up on social media.
My Provincial Kitchen.
Yeah. So Joy was our exercise guru who zoomed in from the middle of Queensland, and so there's no excuse. You don't need to be near a gym. Joy can zoom into your life. So she talked about the fact that we do need to be selfish and look after ourselves, as Cynthia mentioned earlier, about the food that you're eating, and was dispelling the whole following of fasting. We really do need lots of protein, is what she talked about in a lot of our meals, and ensuring that you have that downtime and enjoy the rest.
And her business is called Off the Track Training, if you want to check her out as well. And you can get involved in some of her online programs if you're interested. Then we had Lisa Kitto, and Lisa works for local government at Yarra Ranges Shire in Victoria. And she, as well as being involved in bushfires like Louise Scott, she also is involved in the COVID response for Yarra Ranges Shire. So I'm sure that would have ramped up this week. So she had a first aid trilogy, and it was Embrace the Power of a Power Nap, yoga, that she does a salute to the sun 3 times a day, and that has an amazing effect on your body and your mind. And again, another thing of that nutrition and feeding your body and making sure that you're eating well, particularly when we're stressed and running out of energy. That's one thing that drops off for me is my eating. I can't be bothered, and I'm single, so I'm cooking for myself, and it just isn't. I can cook for others, but cooking for myself is hard, and that's definitely the thing for me that drops off when I'm not traveling well. And then of course you get in a vicious cycle, so don't do that.
And Jo's with us today, which is great. And so Jo was about finding that physical exercise that you actually enjoy, and doing it regularly, and even finding, I think it was the 10 minutes just to do it, to make sure that all adds up during the day. This is a bit tough when you're summarising and Jo's already is in the room with us. Just making sure about that you do have conversations with professionals, especially we've already had an example today. There's a mental well-being matter that, get into your network and follow that up. And that your body does need attention. So focus on it at any time. It will change. So it might need something this week and something different next week. So that was a great session with Jo.
And I think Jo also, what I really liked about Jo was she spoke a lot about asking, sometimes you need to be a bit vulnerable and ask for help and let people know how you're traveling, and particularly when you're going through a tough time. So thanks, Jo, for sharing your story with us. We felt very honoured to hear it. And then last week we had Emma, and Emma is a consultant from New South Wales. She started her own business. She was full of energy. Louise, can you tell me what you really loved about her presentation?
I was saying to Cynthia, every time I hear hot chips now, I think of Emma being that was her response to the question about, what's the trigger when you know that you're going the wrong direction with your well-being. And for Emma it was, she starts eating hot chips and she knows that I've gone the wrong way.
So it might be good to think about what's your hot chip.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, Emma, so a lot of our guests have spoken about that, really protecting your own time and prioritising yourself. So Emma's strategy for doing that is to book time in her calendar. Again, another theme, making sure that you've got amazing people and listen to them too. And like Louise just said, know your red flags, recognise when things aren't feeling like they should, and take the time out to rest and reset. So, speaking of Lisa Kitto, she's just joined us.
Ah, right.
Hello, Lisa. We were just talking about you. Lisa Kitto. We were going through our all our guests, and we mentioned you just a couple of slides ago. So, hello and welcome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to break you up into groups of 4. So I will stop sharing that screen. We will send you a copy of that slide presentation that summarises everything. And so I am going to, Lisa, actually, just unmute yourself for a sec. We were just talking about you probably being pretty busy this week with the COVID response.
That's why I was late. Sorry, I had this locked in to come to this today, and then I've just been a little bit... just trying to actually focus is now about the impacts, the mental health impacts of these announcements to our staff and our communities. So I'm about to do a presentation this afternoon about chronic stress and being kind and communicating in an empathetic way. So that's what we do with Savo. Yeah.
Is that being recorded? How can we get access?
I don't know. I'll happily share your slides because I've tapped into the guru called Rob Gordon. I don't know if any of you know Rob Gordon.
Yeah.
So he luckily lives in Yarra Glen, and he's our go-to sort of guru really, and he's just lovely. So I spoke to him last week and he gave me some key tips. So what I can do, Synth, is share the 2 slides that talks about impacts to staff, but also to community, and just broadly, and particularly during COVID, what's that's doing to us. So yeah, I'll share the slides and that makes it easier. I'll shut up.
Okay, we'll put that in our next, because we send out a newsletter each week to you all if you've registered for Wellbeing Wednesday, and you get a bit of a summary of what we've talked about. So Rob Gordon, for those who don't know, is a psychologist. He's worked a lot with trauma, particularly in rural communities, so very well versed in bushfires and drought, and now of course global pandemic. So that'll be really great to see that. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, so we are going to split you into groups, and the question we want you to ask, to have a chat about, just for probably 6 minutes or so, is basically what's resonated with you. So we've gone through the lessons, what's kind of stuck out, and what do you think might be helpful for you? And I'll put the question, I'll share the question again, but I'll break you up. You're just going to be in random groups, and we've got 14. So I'm going to put you in actually groups of 3.
Nosh's got a question.
Oh, Nosh.
Hey, Cynthia, if you, instead of putting the question in individually in all the groups, you can do something called as broadcast. Yeah, sorry, if you knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. No worries. Okay.
Sorry about that.
So you've got 6-ish minutes, and I'll broadcast the question, but it's basically what resonated with you from what we've just gone through, and what might be useful for you with your well-being. Okay.
And how about we say 5 minutes, Cynthia?
Yes.
It's almost 10 to 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, am I joining a room?
Don't join it.
Right.
Join it. Everyone else join. And now broadcast.
So Susie, I think you just need to join your room that's been allocated to you. Oh, and Claire. Are you just typing up the questions?
Yeah.
Oh, do you do that once they go in? You can do the broadcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've done that before. So Claire, if you're still there, you can press join for the room you've been allocated to.
And I think Narelle as well. Narelle and Nosh, have you joined?
Oh, I can't see that on my screen.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's just Claire who hasn't joined.
All right, so we'll just keep an eye on the time. So when...
Oh, hang on. So sorry, Louise, just one thing. So for those, we're recording this this session, and so for those who are watching the recording, we've put people in breakout rooms just for... Ooh. Sorry about that. Hang on, I've just got to do something with the breakout room. Got to reallocate. Move to breakout room 2. Move to breakout room 3. Okay. All right, cool.
Well done.
Oh, sorry. So for those people who are watching, you might just like to write down for yourself, just jot down a couple of ideas about what's resonated for you with the conversation that we've just had and what might be useful for your well-being. And then Louise and I are probably just going to chat about our process, but so you can also, if you're watching this, fast forward 5 minutes and rejoin us when everyone's back. Louise.
Oh, that's good. So we can see that took a bit longer than we expected. So I don't know if we said it's a 1 hour session, Cynthia.
Yeah, we have.
Yes, we won't really be able to do the buddies, will we? Break out again?
Probably not.
Yes, that they do that themselves in when they come back.
Yeah. Or we can just say if you want to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's easy enough to. Yeah. So if they want to hang around, then we can just split them into the pairs.
What we might do, so the slides that I had for the Mentimeter were what's one word you'd use to describe for Wellbeing Wednesday, and what's an action that you're going to walk away from today. So
yeah, that's good actually. So I'd rather end on that opposed to trying to sort out who's hanging around.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So is that like a separate PowerPoint in a sense, your Mentimeter?
It's a separate window.
Yeah.
And then they just have to dial a number, get onto a website and text. It sounds a bit complicated, but it's really...
Yeah, I think Nosh explained it to me once. I just haven't done it. Yeah, it obviously works well for you.
Very easy.
Yeah. All right. So that's been about three to 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, because I would have liked to have broken them up into groups of 3, but
what was the noise?
I don't know. I'll just broadcast a minute. I'll say 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's great. I just love the whole process of being able to do this. So it was good to see who's rocked up today. Excuse me. It's as if there's actually another element to this, isn't it? The actual, opposed to the more formal and interview, there's this side bit as well where more conversation and more of a community building.
Check-in.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. Maybe we could do a special one in the evening or something.
Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we, a few weeks ago, but we just didn't really have the time to do it. But I think that's a really good idea. And just off the back of what we've been doing and what we've discovered, could bring in a different
Just doing 90 minutes. I mean, we could even get Lisa to do her little presentation and then have a conversation around that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just for her
community
area.
Yeah. And we could make it maybe a 90-minute session or something.
Yeah, I've just noted that down.
Yeah.
And so Lisa Keat will ask her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we can discuss. And it's more about the conversation, I think, is what people need. It's just like what we've had. People are quite interested in, aren't they, just who's who and...
Well, and just I reckon there will be more people who are struggling, right now. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll close.
Yeah, and then they've got a minute to go.
They've got a minute, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we noticed a few people. We were in Torquay yesterday doing a bit of shopping at the surf shops, and a few people just were so adamant that you weren't in their space. The kids didn't get it. And I had to tell them off. I said, look, you don't get it, but it's really unfair. But at the same time, we went to another shop and I said, well, if they don't want to be their space invaded, just don't come to the shops. But, you know.
Yeah, and I think what Narelle said is true. Like my sister-in-law from Echuca went to Kahuna next, a couple of times over to have lunch, and she was getting looked at very nastily from a lot of locals, even though she's from the next town over, because everyone's really on high alert. Are you from Melbourne? We don't want you here.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can understand people.
Yeah.
Fearful. I'm getting a lot of anger on social media at the moment. There's so many angry people.
Yes.
A bit of a break because I'm feeling really toxified by it. Anywho, we'd love to hear.
It's funny you say that because we were just talking about. So I was just telling the girls in my group that I put up a photo of an article that was in me about the paper yesterday. And someone nicely two people told me I look fat in the photo. Isn't that nice? And a few other people have said, why are you saying positive things when a lot of people are struggling? And we just had a bit of a chat about that in our little group. And I did swear in the little group, but I won't here. But I'm like you. I just hope, what joy does that inspire joy? I don't think so. And why do people do it? I don't know.
Well, they're under stress and reactive, and they're lashing out because they're afraid, I think. And they're not connected with themselves to know that anger is a secondary emotion, and under it is, something more, which is fear, and it's easier to point the finger when you're feeling out of control, I think. That's my take anyway. So we'd love just to hear. So we're actually a bit conscious it's actually 1:59. So if you've got to go, we apologise. But what we just wanted to do was hear from each little group just about what you took away. And then we've got 2 quick questions to ask you where we're going to do a little poll and then we'll wrap up. So we reckon 10 minutes or so. So Di, given that your group, who in your group wants to just quickly
Louise would love to.
Oh gosh, we talked about a lot of things, but lots of was not caring what people think and cutting people loose out of your network if they're not helpful really to your well-being or your purpose. I think there was lots more, sorry. But yeah, Jude's got about 10 hours of watching to go back over all the recording. He wanted to hear more, so it's great that you're here now. What have I missed, Fiona and Di and Jude?
No, that's a good summary, but also for me it was knowing your red flags, so recognising in yourself what's like the hot chips thing. I thought that was excellent because I missed that the other day. Yeah, knowing your red flags and recognising in yourself when you might be also potentially losing your plot, although I don't think any of us have. It's just the other ones.
All the other idiots out there.
Yeah, we're all normal, we're all perfect.
We're fine, we're sane.
So another group, Lisa, which group were you in?
So I was with Jane and Catherine and Nosh. Well, I don't know if I want to speak for them, but I just sort of spoke about the value of even just tuning into these sessions was great. Just to make time to do that. And then I just spoke about being kind, learning to remember to be kind to yourself.
Anyone else? Catherine?
I sort of talked about needing to make a structure, and I found that really difficult to do, making time for myself to do some creative stuff. So I actually had to pay to join, to do a group. So I'm paying the artist to join a group, and I thought that's a good way for keeping the economy going.
Yeah, great.
For those groups, so yeah.
Yeah. Fabulous. Anyone else from that group?
Jane's got a whole lot. She's going to go back through the back catalogue as well.
Oh, good. Good on you, Jane.
Yeah. So, and Jane's asked where to find them. So, Cynthia's website is where I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Next group. Who was in another group? Estelle.
Hiding.
Okay, so I was in the group with Susie, Joe and Narelle. And I think we all appreciated just joining a group, the variety of speakers and the different shared experience and the authenticity that came from all of them, and the fact you can pick and choose different things that resonate with you. And so instead of taking like a whole lifetime to learn all these lessons, we can kind of condense that into a number of weeks, months in lockdown. And the fact that it's really hard to, I was just saying to the others, after thinking we were just about coming out of lockdown, to go back in again and to have to get your mind back into that lockdown mentality again is really tough when you're just coming out. So to have a nice connection like this is just so refreshing. It really is. And if anybody else, and we encourage Narelle to go back and do all her watching because that's their best.
As well.
And if anyone else from that group, go for your life.
And look, for me, there was always something that resonated from every session. You know, the FOMO with Di, that was one that was really big for me. The cup half, fill your cup first. Just there was always something to take away from every session.
Yeah, everyone, all of our guests have been so different, haven't they? They've had really different takes on you know, there's been some similar themes, but everyone's had a, you know, an amazing story to tell from all different parts of Australia and from different age groups. And so just to let you know, next week we'll be chatting with Arthur Khan, who is from Gippsland, and she's been a regular one of our participants. She is the chair of the United Muslim Sisters
of Latrobe Valley.
Thank you, of Latrobe.
Oh,
thank you, Nosh. So yeah, we're going to hear from Arthur next week, which will be terrific. Also, just to let you know, we did a survey and asked people to let us know what's your experience of Wellbeing Wednesday's been. Look, basically the feedback was very positive, and probably the thing that we've taken away is maybe make them a little bit shorter. So maybe just do 45 minutes rather than an hour, because I think we're finding, you know, there's lots of back-to-back meetings. So maybe just giving people 15 minutes at the end to be able to get to their next meeting or do what they need to do might be worthwhile. But generally, you know, a few people said, oh, could it be at night? Could it be at a different time? Could it be rather than one? But there wasn't sort of any kind of theme, but it was basically keep it going. So that's what, and Louise and I love it, and we love seeing you, and we get so much from it as well. So we're happy to keep it going for as long as it's useful. And just finally, so I want to thank you all for your time today. Just finally, I'd like to invite you to do two quick little activities, and I've just got to find them. So if you get your mobile phone out, I would like you to get your mobile phone out, go to www.menti.com and type in the code 993194. And the question is, what's one word you would use to describe Wellbeing Wednesday? So there's just a few more I can see. Oh, there we go. Starting to come in now. This is a great little tool, mentimeter.com. Great little tool for getting feedback, and it looks really nice too. So
is it a free tool, Cynthia?
So yes and no. It's free if you just want to ask 2 or 3 questions of the group. I can't remember what the limit is. It's either 2 or 3 questions. And if you want to ask more than that, you need to pay. So that is terrific. Some really wise, invigorating, recharging, etc., etc. So that is terrific. Now I'm going to get you to. How do I go to the next one? Next one. There we go. Okay. So going back to menti.com and using the code 993194, we're just really interested to know what's one thing you've taken away from Wellbeing Wednesday. It might be a strategy, it might be a tool, it might be a connection, something you've learnt, a practice.
Coming through.
Yep, terrific.
Plan my day, life lessons from shared experiences. So true. Lots of connections. Self-care isn't selfish. Ooh, something that we can play with that. Routine's important. More on the network. Thank you for this. This is great.
Know my hot chips, Louise.
Yeah, I wonder who said that, Cynthia. Rest. Oh, I'm looking forward to resting tonight.
Oh, terrific. Thank you, everyone, for that. So I'm going to unshare, stop my screen now. So, yeah, we just wanted to say thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Louise and I were actually chatting when you were in your breakout rooms and we had a brainwave. Lisa, are you still there? What we thought we might do is in a couple of weeks, have an evening session and bring everyone, just whoever wants to. And we thought we might ask Lisa to give her presentation that she's going to give her community this afternoon. That sounded so good. And it sounded like a really nice kind of short presentation. And then that could form a platform for just a bit more of what we did today, just getting together and having a bit more of a chat. And then we'll do our sort of speaker stuff at the normal time.
I'm happy to do that, Cynthia, but I'll just give you all a heads up, a spoiler alert, it actually bags out Zoom, so you know.
Oh, cool. That's good. We need to hear it.
Yeah.
We need to hear it. Louise, anything you want to add?
No. Thanks everyone for joining and spread the word. Spread the word. We are seeing the numbers going down, as Cynthia mentioned earlier. So it is a great group. You know what it's like when you get on board. So let's keep it going by getting others involved, especially from around Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nosh, thank you for the reminder. Can we just do a little photo? So if everyone can smile nicely for the camera. And I'm going to press Alt. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hang on, I've just got to get rid of. Right, okay, 1, 2, 3. Please let that work. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Thank you. Thanks for creating an amazing community and welcoming one.
Stay well, Nosh.
Hi. Cheers.
For a walk, Cynthia.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I'll be in touch, Catherine, for a walk, for sure.
Great.
Great. Well done, Louise.
Well done, Cynthia.
Okay, now I just have to see if my photo worked. Really.
Oh, are you still recording?
Oh, yeah, hang on. Oh, get out of that.
Oh, it's freezing in this room.
Oh my gosh, it gets very tricky to navigate all these screens.
Yeah, you've got lots of screens there. That was good.